Everyone thinks coaching a superstar makes life easier. More talent, more wins, simple, right? Not when that superstar is Caitlin Clark. Because what Lisa Bluder had at Iowa wasn't just a great player, she had a once-in-a-generation talent who forced the entire idea of normal coaching to bend around her. And that's where the word impossible actually makes sense. Not because Clark was a problem, but because she was something coaches almost never get, and almost don't know how to contain. From the moment Clark stepped on the floor, traditional shot selection basically went out the window. Most coaches build a fence around percentages, locations, and patience. Work the ball. Get paint touches. Find rhythm shots. Clark's rhythm shot might be 28 feet out, in transition, with a defender right there. And the wild part? That's still good offense with her. Imagine being a coach who spent a career teaching players what a bad shot is, and now your best player keeps taking shots that break every rule, and making them at a level that changes games. You can't coach her like everyone else, because the normal limits don't apply. So Bluder had to do something a lot of coaches struggle with. She had to trust something that looks wrong but works anyway. And it didn't stop with shooting. Clark plays fast. Really fast. She sees passing angles most players don't even attempt. That leads to highlight assists, and yes, turnovers too. In most systems, turnovers get cleaned up by slowing things down. But slowing Clark down takes away the very thing that makes her special. So coaching her meant living with risk, living with chaos, and accepting that a little mess was the price of explosive offense. That's not comfortable coaching. That's controlled unpredictability. Then there's her basketball mind. Clark isn't just running plays, she's reading defenses in real time and reacting. When a player sees the floor that way, you can't micromanage every possession from the sideline. Bluder had to give her freedom most college players never get, because taking the ball out of Clark's decision-making actually makes the offense worse. That kind of trust sounds simple, but for a coach, it's huge. You're handing the game to a player and saying, I believe your instincts more than my clipboard. And every single game, the defense made that even harder. Clark wasn't guarded normally. She was face-guarded, trapped, picked up full court, constantly pressured. That means the play you call often dies in 2 seconds. Bluder had to design an entire system around the attention one player drew, spacing the floor and empowering teammates to play off the gravity Clark created. You're not just coaching 5 positions at that point, you're coaching around a moving double team. Add in the competitiveness. Clark plays with visible emotion, edge, and intensity. Players like that demand a lot from themselves and from the moment. A coach's job then becomes balancing that fire, keeping the team steady, and making sure the energy lifts everyone instead of overwhelming the group. That's not about conflict, it's about guiding a player whose internal drive is already maxed. So when people hear impossible to coach, it sounds like trouble. But here, it means something else. It means coaching a player whose range stretches the floor beyond logic, whose creativity pushes past system rules, whose confidence forces you to rethink what's allowed, and whose presence changes every defensive game plan before the tip even happens. Lisa Bluder didn't struggle because Caitlin Clark was difficult. She had to adapt because Clark was different. And the real story isn't that Clark was impossible to coach. It's that Bluder was willing to coach her differently, to trust the deep shots, accept the risk, hand over freedom, and build around a player who redefined what offense could look like. That's not dysfunction. That's what happens when a coach meets a generational talent and chooses evolution over control. And that's why Iowa didn't just have a star. They had a system built around something basketball doesn't see very often.